Is there anything you want to start with when it comes to
Well,
Samson?
I think we should start with the name because I think it's fascinating that Shimshon,
Yep.
being derived from Shemesh, something like a little sun, but the fact that we're in, I mean, we have a Mesopotamian god named Shamash, right? Shamash, of
Hmm.
course, refers to the sun. Also, just I mean, the orb in the sky that burns, right? I mean, it refers to that in
Hmm.
one sense, the word Shamash, but in another sense, when we bring a mythological element into it, it is Shamash, the god of justice. So I think it's very interesting that we have Shimshon, the last judge, his name, though not in Hebrew, but certainly if you think about it from a Mesopotamian level, you definitely have this idea of justice also tied even to the name itself.
Well, how about this? Think of Psalm 19, where this psalm that is dedicated to the beauty of the Torah of the Lord, and
Hmm.
being compared to the sun. That the first part of Psalm 19, you have the sun that comes. I wonder if you can just pull it up real quick. Maybe
Yeah,
we
yeah,
could
yeah, I
look at
definitely
a
could.
few
Let's do it
lines.
here.
Again, let's give English translation here. Psalm 19. The heavens are telling the glory of God, and the firmament proclaims his handiwork. Day to day pours forth speech, and night to night declares knowledge. There is no speech, nor their words. Their voice is not heard, yet their voice goes out through all the earth, and their words to the end of the earth. In the heavens, he has set a tent for the sun, which comes out like a bridegroom from his wedding canopy, and like a strong man runs its course with joy. Its rising is from the end of the heavens, and its circuit to the end of them, and nothing is hid from its heat. And so we go from this first part talking about the heavens and particular emphasis on the sun, and then we
Yeah.
switch the law, or here the Torah. The Torah of the Lord is perfect, reviving the soul. Um,
It's a
the
fascinating
decrees, Lord, are
transition
good.
there. That's really
Yeah, isn't
interesting.
that?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we go from
Yeah,
talking
it
about the
is.
sun to then talk about
Uh-huh.
the Torah of God and
Yeah.
this similarity that we have
Yeah.
going on.
Yeah.
So, and you go through the rest. The rest just basically describes just a lot of beautiful attributes of God's guidance, His
Hmm.
truth, and whatnot. So,
Hmm.
yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's interesting to see that there because we have the Shemesh, right? We have the sun, but there's no mythological element. There's no way in which there is a god of justice behind it. But we see that the Lord in His law is the one bringing forth justice, and it is the Lord who shines sort of into the dark places, just like I guess Shamash does in Mesopotamian mythology and ideas. So, but here it is Shimshon, right?
Yeah.
It is Samson who's going to do the great works of God here in this particular story.
You know, I wonder. So we know what his name, it's play on the word for son, but we don't have like and they named him Samson
No,
because this. So
yeah,
we don't have
yeah.
that, but so this could be reading into things a little bit. But what I wonder if this is almost setting up a narrative expectation where Judges is known as, again, being a very dark period.
Mhm.
And if, so again, I'm kind of moving away from the text a bit to like interpretive level. So again,
Mhm.
I could be reading into this a tad bit, but it's a very
Mhm.
dark period.
Yeah,
And if you have this 12th judge, this final
yeah.
one, who has epic birth narrative named Shimshon, we are
Mhm.
expecting him to bring the light into this dark period. We're
Mm.
expecting him to be that person. He'll be the light that shines in the darkness. And spoiler alert, he's not. But I wonder if there's a tad bit of his name. It gives us a hope and an expectation of what will happen.
Mm. Well, it's an interesting idea, especially when we bring. Let's talk about Delilah's name for a moment. What?
Yes, yes, that's good.
There's a lot of discussion here with Delilah, but we'll just go with the first part. The Lila is
Yeah,
interesting, isn't it?
yeah, yes,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh,
Lila
absolutely.
being the word for night. Yeah.
Yep.
So.
And then the Dalet at the beginning. One thing I've wondered is in Aramaic, D is like of.
Mm-hmm.
Or a myriad of things. It means many things in Aramaic. But Delilah, I gotta remember. I gotta look at her name again. Is it Delilah? I forget the exact vowel for her.
Let me
I think
look
it
it
may
up
be
here. Yeah, I think it's
chapter. Maybe it's Judges chapter 16 when she comes in.
Yeah, I think so.
15. I should have already remembered this. I mean, I read through the chapters in Hebrew
I think
just
it was no, it was
a few
16.
days
Yeah.
ago. Again, vowels aren't like
Um,
the most important thing in Hebrew. We know they're kind of finicky a little bit.
what is it? It's Delilah. Yeah, you had it right, Delilah.
Delilah. But anyway, obviously Lila is the, like, again, if you take her name, her name is
Correct.
the consonantal text is the word night, and then you just added dot at the beginning. So I wonder if there's a way you could look at it. She is of the night, you could say, is,
which has multiple connotations for Delilah in any case. Could be from the Akkadian Dalilu, but yeah. I mean, there's all sorts of interesting ideas behind names and narratives. I mean, you can always, like you said, read into it a bit too much. But in any case, here there's something interesting. We have a guy, Shemesh, and he's going to get in trouble with a woman with Lila there in some sense. So,
So yeah, there's some fun stuff with the names. So yeah, I think some cool possibilities. But all to say that the judges, we should say, it doesn't spell it out for us. It doesn't tell us exactly. So there's going to be interpretive work and guesswork, but
it doesn't give us a narrative explaining the etymology of the name, does it? It's just not there. So,
which is something I wish I'd circled back to, by the way. Again, this could have been me reading into something, to this idea that Samson being the light in this dark period is, let's just say there's some validity to that idea. I think where our mind should go to is realizing that there is one who was the light that shone in the darkness. The darkness could not overcome, comprehend it, that being Jesus.